Hey guys, welcome to the first Google Hangout. We apologize for the patience. I'm joined here, Chris Classic, and he is a writer, producer. He's an overall hit maker. He's written songs on soundtracks from a lot of your favorite movies, including Sex and the City, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Oh my God, I could go on and on and on. But Chris, why don't you introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are and a little bit about what you're about?
Can you see me? Well, my name is Chris Classic. I'm a songwriter, producer for film and television. I've been doing so for about 12 years. Um, been very fortunate a living, and I didn't quite start out that most people do. I didn't go to school for music. It was just something that I kind of graduated to. From poetry. And, I was a young cat trying to impress girls with poems as a school assignment for English class to write a song that would sell a product. Because
Mm.
obviously our teacher wanted us to learn how language can influence people to do things. So the song was so good that everyone else in school said, well, you need to be a rapper and you need to make a song. So that's how it started, and I just stuck with it when it came time for high school. Doing talent show, and I had a chance to leave school early
Mm.
and kind of pursue my dreams through a relative who was very instrumental in exposing me to um, different sides of the music industry. And while I was in the presence of people that he introduced me to, I was able to make a good impression. Um, and I made one connection with this producer. His name was Ali D. And was since 2004. So it's been very fulfilling.
Awesome. And just for those the name Classic.
Well, the name Master J, rest in peace. I worked with him 2001, 2002, up in to the studio right there on Merritt in Queens on Sundays after church. So I was, kind of dressed up from church, and the cats who were from Hollis and Southside, that wasn't too cool to them. But Jay thought it was a good look, and you kind of had this vision that was kind of like Frank Sinatra,
Mm.
back style. Kind of like if you watch a rock commercial today, like that, kind of what it would be like. Um, and so I used the term classic in a song, and he stopped and said, that's your name, Chris Classic. And it's been that way since 2019.
Wow. Well, I just switch ask you, um, what's your favorite bar that really helps you and journey throughout your life?
Well, I would say this, for me, I have a differentiation between music that I make for film and TV and the music that I make for myself. Songs that I make for me are more personal. I have certain parts of my life and my son, my family, things like that, mistakes that I've made. Whereas music for film and TV, uh, um, it tends to be party anthemic, themed about winning, feeling good. Um, while my music is personally a bit more realistic than that. So I don't really have a line yet. I think that if I commit to a favorite song, that I won't make anything else that I like. Um, but and I don't have a specific music to me is an expression that is current. So if today is a horrible day outside, then I may make a song about feeling necessarily what I feel. So I think I've kind of been trained um, to make things on like in the moment and current and on the fly. And I think my music varies so much that it's hard for me to kind of just pick out one as that is the standard in my life.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Talk to us about your morning routine. I mean, you're an artist, you're a writer, you're also a father, and you share a lot about your son on social media. I'm not mistaken, the last thing I remember, you were at teachers conference. How does all of that fit into life?
Well, my son's with me from Sundays through Thursday. Well, Wednesday night. On his mom's schedule every semester. She's a college professor. To me, we're up at 6:15, um, and we try to get out the door fast and eat. Um, you know, and just Newark, New Jersey into Manhattan, lower Manhattan, can be quite troublesome, but we get a chance to spend a lot of good time with each other and get to have conversations a lot or come home. So it is indeed every morning. It's we have a where and it's it's quite fun. Sometimes I point out things that are fun. He's on. I give him a space to kind of decompress before. And that's our morning routine.
That's your morning routine. Love it. Now let's switch back into your writer producer hat and just talk to us a little bit about some of your lowest career moments, some of your obstacles, and how you overcame them and from them.
I have a great one. So this was 2008. Alvin and the Chipmunks soundtrack and movie came out in 2007, and for film and TV, we get paid. So you could be working on a movie for a long time, um, because then it also relies on when it comes out. So I remember one of the songs that I wrote for Alvin and the Chipmunks had made it to the Billboard charts,
Wow.
and it was the first time that anything that I was a part of was in Billboard magazine, like actually on the chart. And so a check came. So, I had money to pay for certain things, but at that moment, I was just low on cash. I knew I had certain things coming, but I was just low on cash. And I went to go get the billboard, and I swiped my debit card, and it didn't go through. And the billboard is not ever so crazy. Life could be the fact that you could be in inventory, but cannot have, you can't even buy. And I think that was probably one of the parts on the side um, of film TV.
Awesome, awesome. Now, your purpose. What issue does your purpose solve? Do how do you see your purpose as a solution to a particular problem?
I try to be very, very rational with things.
Speak up.
You know, uh, there's nothing that we go through on a daily basis that's a little bit of effort, a little team help, learning from your mistakes, learn. I think for me, I make the most use of other people's mistakes.
Mm.
One of my friends and mentors always spoke of, we use other people's money to get our goals accomplished. For me, OPM stands for other people's mistakes. One person's actions at any given the rest of their life, how one person's actions can affect everyone else around them. So for me, I kind of, I'm very observant. I'm a people watcher living in New York City. You kind of, become that. When it comes to people that I actually know in real life and know personally, just seeing how they move and seeing how they operate, usually to learn from their mistakes and learn from their successes. I've been, very blessed to have mentors who have either invited me to learn from them or willing to let me learn from them. So based on people who are my mentors or people who I just watch mess up, I'm able to learn a lot and apply it to my personal life.
Read that you started writing at age 9, started doing poetry at age 9.
Yes.
Do you feel like this entire process has been intuitive, or do I know that you knew, was that all intuitive? Was there any outside help, or did you just make the decision on your own, and then from there, did you, or did you just kind of let it flow, what it is now?
I didn't have a set plan. My mom and my stepdad were Jehovah's Witnesses. That's how I was raised. So hip hop and rap music was frowned upon in our house. And I actually wasn't even really able to or hip hop at all. The most I got exposure to was, hearing it as it was driving past in someone else's, going to relative's house and they had it on. So for me, being able to make a living to this day based on hip hop, based on music, is something that was very far from my trajectory at 8 years old. I knew there was nothing wrong with poetry. There's poetry in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Are songs, they're poems. So I knew there was nothing wrong intrinsically with poetry. Putting it to music, as simple as it is, that's what rap is. So I didn't see a problem with it, and I gravitated to it, and thankfully blessed on it. Based on the talent that I was blessed with, I've been able to use it to make a living. So for me, even with my son, wants to be what he wants to do, and it's not really up to me to tell him no. I just have to kind of support and guide him in a way to make the most, um, you know, monetarily and emotionally, that will make the most sense for him as he, becomes an adult.
Now, before we move into the next question, raised Jehovah's Witness.
Mm-hmm.
No rapper hip hop was being played in the house.
Right.
I was raised Christian. No rapper hip hop was played in the house. I mean, I tried to listen to Salt and Pepper. My mother was not having it. My first rap album,
Okay.
and my dad bought that for me. And so I snuck it into, but I just thought it was the most insane album I had ever heard in my life.
Right.
What was your first rap or hip hop album purchase?
My first rap purchase, um, it ain't hard to tell. That was the singing, Illmatic. And then Midnight Marauders from Tribe
Tribe
Called
Called
Quest.
Quest.
Um, I gravitated to them because they had vocabulary that resonated with students. Um, the samples they used were jazz based,
Mhm.
which I did listen to in the house, which was okay in the house. Even those choices when I was sneaking and listening to rap music were still based on what I thought was acceptable in the house, in the home.
Mhm.
So, I felt like if I did get caught, it wouldn't be so bad because I would get to say, "Hey, no, but this is
This
jazz
is jazz.
with
This is
poetry."
jazz. There ain't
So,
no jazz.
it worked out.
Okay, now let's flip back and let's go back to you out here going to buy the billboard because you're in it. You're doing amazing. Let's talk monetizing. If I were coming into this industry and I'm watching this today and I'm thinking to myself, gosh, there's so many movies that I've had these amazing ideas into that industry. How do you break into that field?
Well, you don't break into it. And that is a common misconception. I think today, the way that things are so instant, um, a lot of people feel, well, hey, I have a good idea for that. I can just go ahead and do it. It doesn't quite work that way. What happened in music for film and TV is that no one was doing it. The company that I work for now, D-Town, when they started doing it in 2004, 2005. So we were able to make a lot happen rather quickly. And then what happened was a lot of people started noticing that these dudes who me are doing all right for themselves based on the license fees that they make. So everyone who was a cool producer and hot and produced for everyone from 2000 to 2007 who had hit records but now weren't so hot,
Mhm.
they got into film and TV. And so the music supervisors who were just normal people who, they just choose, they have good taste in music. They were very impressed by these big name producers now into them and saying, hey, I want to be down with film and TV now. So it became very saturated with people with big names, people with, you know, large credits behind them. If someone wanted to get into making music for film and TV, they need to start watching a movie trailer
Mhm.
and then you thought. Now, if you can come up for the music in your head for how valuable the music is, what's supposed to happen, then you're to end. But most people, it's not there. That list service announcement that listening to uh, you in so everyday life. Commercial, don't even realize commercial starts with but it really enters
Mhm.
and the eyes at the same time. So by making you was video games, I would definitely take the time to study and to pay attention to how things feel, the fabric of it, which if you're creative, understand what I mean by the fabric, how it makes you feel when you hear your eyes are closed. That is something totally different than a piece of music.
Oh, technical difficulty. Uh, okay. Chris, is that you popping back in?
Um,
Are these guys have of your day? Really, really appreciate it. Looks like Chris is coming back in, but let me just take a moment. We're also doing a Google Hangout tomorrow from 4 to 5, and this is going to be Yi. So make sure you bookmark us and you save that time from 4 to 5. That's going to be tomorrow. Chris is, and we're talking with, again, Mr. Chris Classic. He is a writer, producer for film. His last studio album, Crown Royals. He's sharing a wealth of information about how he balances fatherhood along with regular everyday life. Billboard, and he couldn't even pay for the magazine. But that's comes with being an artist. So, Chris, are you back with us?
you can see me.
I I can see you.
Okay.
Okay. So, are there any new projects you're working on?
Yeah, we're very busy. Still doing music for film and TV projects that and DreamWorks projects that I can't discuss. And it's sad because I would really like to, but
Yeah.
legal is legal. Um, and just personally, I'm trying to kind of bridge the gap between the discrepancy music personally that I make and music. So word album in 2015 as opposed to mixtapes that I give away for free.
Okay.
Just because I've listened to too many people are all of a sudden starting to sound similar. So I might need to check myself on that. Um, and I just want to get into you know I do it already naturally by making music for a that millions of dollars are invested in. So there's no reason why there be brand ambassadorships, all sorts of transmedia. Um, I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
for a bit more, my boy Mirza said something very important that learning. So more in finding out the ways to get involved in more creative things. That's definitely on my horizon for 2015 and going forward.
So we're taking the classic brand. Look at me, the Chris Classic brand to the next level, pretty much.
That's it.
Working on a studio album. Now, if you at any point need good background, I'm your girl. I have always been ready, willing, and able to do a extra ooh or rip. Just call me. I'm here for it. Now, 20-year-old self.
Um, do what works for you. I think we express ourselves, but we also are following the patterns of people we admire. And I think that the world has changed so much that you get to make your rules. Kid, I had to wear skirt most days. And then I went through this stage where I was very rebellious, and I just, wore t-shirt and jeans all the time. didn't want to wear a suit at all.
Mhm.
And then mix the two. I wear my standard white tee with a blazer and shoes, and I call it a day. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
you eventually become who you're going to be anyway, based on your past and based on how you were raised, based on things that you were exposed to. But at 20, just focus on can be. And a lot of times we have parents and aunts and uncles and older siblings who want us to get married, all of that works.
Mhm.
But to kind of fulfill some sort of vision, from college,
You a good job with
get you a
some
city job,
benefits.
boy.
Get you a city
That's
benefits.
right. It doesn't work that way. So institutional marriage that
Mhm.
because your grandparents was great for them.
Mhm.
Getting your together, getting your life together yourself before you decide to share it with someone else is the most important thing you can do. Obviously, there are different things biologically between men and women that may, settle down and have children at a certain time with an expectation that you of a certain age may not be ready internally the same way that that's why I really we want to life. We also want to seek a companion to optimize your potential when it's time for you to be selfish.
Mhm.
Because once you have a family, you can't be selfish, or it's very your family
Right.
will suffer. Um, for young people to know both men and it's a new
That means to give
yeah,
them.
and you can't change. So my advice, and although I regret nothing, would be to first.
Awesome. Awesome. Now,
I think that would be one fear. Who maybe they're drunk and they think that they are dancing well,
invincible. Yeah.
or they think that they look great and they really look terrible.
Crazy.
It's so I think musically,
Mhm.
and then you think that you're great, but you're really not. So for me, my biggest fear is thinking that I'm so cool or so creative or so this or so anything that I miss the point of who I really am and what I'm really doing. Ultimately, I look up to people like Quincy Jones, Just a person who, as a producer, he was a producer in the real sense of the word. He produced great compositions by working with so many different people, whether it be Patty Austin or Michael Jackson or George Benson or James Ingram or Tevin Campbell or anyone who made these contributions to music, to the fabric of our culture. That's what I would like to be, a curator of culture. It could be creative musically, it could be creative art wise, it could be creative any other kind of way, sports, what have you. But I think I want to be a producer. My legacy is someone who puts things together and produces a great result. Um, and I think that is best case scenario what my legacy will be.
Awesome. Now, we're winding down. Two more questions. The first, what's your most important flaw?
Important flaw. I care about what people think. And I think that becomes a flaw because sometimes things in a way that makes people happy. Um, and I think if I did not care with what or thought, then I would probably offend a lot more people than I already do. My birthday is March 21st, so that's the first day of Aries, but it has a huge Pisces influence, which means most people who are Pisces are very sensitive to what the group is thinking.
Mhm.
So that is a good thing and a bad thing. It's really hard for me to walk into a room and not, say the right thing, which is kind of cool, but take on everyone's thoughts, and
Mhm.
that's unfair to me. So I would say if I had one flaw that is very important still, it would be that I kind of care about what people think.
I mean, I think that's an important thing to do anyway. You should have a sense of how it is that you're being perceived. Now, if you do anything with that information, that's on you, but
Right.
it can only help you to grow.
True.
Lastly, because we are celebrating the good life, holiday season is here. We have an event we'll be at. We're glad we can't even
Right.
tell you all the location yet, but just know Chris Classic will be in the building tomorrow.
Nice.
How are you living the good life? If I wasn't on Instagram and if I didn't know you out, what are you doing? Are you monthly massages? Making sure you get manicures? Are you going to go meditate upstate New York? What constitutes the good life for Chris Classic?
Um, the good life is, for me, it's as a musician or an artist still, like I mentioned earlier, making money comes from residuals and royalties. So there's never a time that I get to like splurge or ball out. I never get to do that just because I don't know what's coming next and what's not coming
Mhm.
next. I could get 5 checks in the mail in one week, but they're all for $100,
Mhm.
which is cool for that week, but then if I don't get any checks for the next few weeks, then what happens then?
Mhm.
So it's based on making good use of what I have. So for me, I love eating out at restaurants. I love cocktails. Obviously, I'm
I
way
love a good
above
cocktail.
21, able to do that. For me, the good life is getting to see my son as much as possible. Um, that time that I knew him when we were home chilling, like that means something to me. Um, Something to other people, as much, which is why again brand ambassadorships. Even I'm enjoying things, still get to actually be work.
Mhm.
Because that's where I feel I'm the most creative when I'm home or when I'm driving through random city getting lost on purpose. That's when I'm creative. That's because that's when I'm under pressure to think. A life thing every day doesn't really, force you to think.
Mhm.
which is why some people have a very mundane life and it's very unfortunate. Monetarily successful can have they don't do anything that is fulfilling to them.
Mhm.
I don't have a set or specific religion. I don't belong to a certain church, but I feel that I have a very good relationship with my creator because I understand that part of being created meant that the creator is inside of me. So sometimes, when I'm walking down the street, I'm praying, but I'm not praying. I'm praying to the creator in me to actually make certain things manifest. And living a good life for me just means doing what I can enjoy when I can enjoy it without you know, ODing, as some young cats would say, or just doing something that is not in moderation.
Mhm. Oh man, Chris, always a pleasure. Are there any final words or thoughts that you would like to leave with our Black Enterprise audience?
Um, I think the nature of society today and media will tell you that we are living in an era where race is not an issue. Um, I don't agree. I think that race is an issue because it's up to us to and just like you do things great for your children because you want them to have better lives, it's really important to do things great for your own community wherever you live and whoever's around you. If your dream is to move out of the hood into a great opulent neighborhood, that's great. But now once you're there, do you now frown on people who live in the hood, or do you make it so palatable for other people to embrace more people who look like you? What are you doing for other people to have them enjoy the same experiences that you do? So, a lot of our young people are getting involved in so many different things, fields that people of color never got involved in. So it's important to encourage them specifically. And there's nothing wrong, with sports or music or something like that. But, people who are doing things, especially in math and science, those are the things that, our ancestry were gods of.
Mhm.
And for us to not be involved in it as much as we should be is a travesty. So if you see a young person who's involved in the medical field, in the sciences, in the arts, in math, those are the people who need the most encouragement and who are avid members of Black Enterprise organizations who want to be charities to younger people. Those are the young kids who need the scholarships. We have so many musicians, we have so many athletes, but those are the people who really can use the most help. So just be aware of yourself. Be aware of what you're representing every time you do something, and that's kind of the best advice that I can give all across the board to older people and to young people alike.
Well, be aware of yourself, and as Oprah says, be cautious of the energy you bring into a room.
That's right.
Chris, thank you so much for being with us today. Looking tomorrow as we kick off our BE Good Life. Also, tonight, if you're in New York, we are doing our first Power Social. We are interviewing, well, our associate managing editor, Janelle Hazelwood, will be interviewing the founder of the Fab Empire, DC Fab. So that's on Twitter, on Black Enterprise, Mr. And I am Sarita Wright, social media manager at Black Enterprise, and my handle is Savage Gazelle. Again, being patient and tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed comments and using the hashtag good life. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.